What up, team? Lovely to have you aboard today. Very warm welcome to you. We're going to be talking about adding a vignette today. It's a little touch that you can add to your projects, and perhaps you've never thought of adding it and you're maybe thinking, what is a vignette? Well, I will tell you, but right after the intro. So you might be sitting there thinking, what is a vignette and why is he talking about it? Well, take a look at this photo that I have of me on screen. I was very wet that day. I truly was. I mean, you can see how wet I am. Poor Paul. Ever so wet. Whatever. Deal with it, Paul. It's just water from the sky. So any photo editing app is going to let you add a vignette. If I drag the vignette slider all the way up to the top here, you see how the edges get darker on the photograph? Full vignette. Not so much vignette. Full vignette. And you see how it focuses your attention on the item at hand. But we're going to do it to our snow from last time. We're going to do it to this. Now, if you've not seen the snow from last time, go ahead and click the link. They'll be right up there. That will take you off to see how we make this wonderful snow. If you've seen that, or you just want to rock on in with the vignetting, let's get into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the code from last time, and just a quick reminder, we have some snowflakes and we have our snow, and our snow is handling a canvas, and the canvas is where we draw our snowflakes. All so far so good, I hope. Now what we want to do is we want to create a vignette that we can draw over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a create vignette. Ooh, interesting spelling. Yes, vignette. It's vignette. And we're creating it. Okay, create a vignette. Right. So what we want to do is, with our canvas, we're going to this.context.create radial gradient. Now this takes quite a lot of parameters. There's the starting x position of the gradient, the end, starting x, starting y, start radius, close x, close y, close radius. Now, the x and y are going to be in the middle of our scene, so that's fine. So we'll need some kind of x mid, y mid. The starting radius is going to be 0. Then the end x is going to be x mid, y mid, and then the radius that we'd want to finish at would probably be the size of the screen, as in the Pythagorean distance from the center to the top corner, which we'll calculate in a minute. There we go. Radius. Right. We'll call it radius. That'll be fine. So we need to figure out what x mid, y mid, and radius are. Well, x mid should be okay. X mid should be the width times by 0.5. And the y mid should be this dot height times by 0.5. And the radius is slightly more interesting, isn't it? Const radius is the math dot square root of x mid times x mid plus y mid times y mid. If this is baffling you and bamboozling you, you probably want to look up Pythagorean distances. We've got the x mid, we've got the y mid, and we're trying to figure out the diagonal length. That will tell us the radius of our gradient. That's how this would work. So we have the first part of it. So we've created a radial gradient. The other thing that you have to do with radial gradients, or in fact any gradient on a canvas, is you have to give it a thing called a color stop. And so we want to add multiple color stops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a for loop to do that, because I want to be able to control the number of steps here. So let I equals 0, I is less than 1. Yeah. No, equal to 1, I think. I plus equals 0.1. So our color stops go between 0 and 1. 0 would be at the x mid, y mid 0. 1 as a color stop would represent the outer edge of the radial gradient, y mid, x mid, y mid radius. So the 0 to 1 is basically how far along the radius you are, and if your x and y mid were different, obviously how long between the 2 points. So we can do, in fact we need the gradient itself I think here, so let's do, actually we need to apply it, don't we? Yes we do. Vignette, there we are, vignette. We need to make an instance on our class, I think. This dot, whoa, vignette. There we are. Add color stop. So this is that offset. So 0.0 is the offset at one end of the gradient. Yeah, there you go. That's what I said. That's very exciting, isn't it? Oh, good. Right. I. Now the color we want, let's think about this. Well, let's start by saying RGBA, because we know we want to do something that fades from completely transparent to a sort of darker color, like a black, but not fully black, I suspect. So we'll do, that's black, and then it's going to be something like something like that, because not going to be completely that, is it? Because that would take, well, let's try it. I mean, that's going to take us from, you know, from the center to the out, and we're going to get a vignette, but I don't think it's going to be that neat and tidy. No, it's not going to be that neat. It's not going to be that neat and tidy. So we'll be going back in and fixing that, I suspect. Yes, but that's fine for now. Okay, so what we need to do, we've got a vignette that we've created. We actually need to call this. And because it's related to the width and height, the right place to call it would be the resize function. So every time we call resize, we have to recreate the vignette. That seems like a good thing for us to be doing, so we'll do that there. And we know, as part of our constructor for this node, we do call the resize automatically to begin with, so we know we're going to end up with a vignette. Right, so we have a vignette that we've created, which is this radial gradient. Now what we need to do is go in here and say this dot ctx dot fill rectangle, naught, top left hand corner, this dot width, this dot height. Boop. Now we have to tell it what we want to fill that rectangle with, because by default it's going to fill it in black, just a solid black. So let's go in and we'll say this dot ctx dot fill style is this dot vignette. Now all being well, we're going to see something here. And we do have a vignette. For the record, I have not had a bug just yet. Just saying, last video, there was a very exciting and then very disappointing moment where I thought I'd gone bug-free. That moment was bug-free, just saying. Yes, there was less code. Shh, you, shh. Right, we can improve this a little bit because we've got this kind of linear vignette, and it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's a bit strong as vignettes go, and we probably just want to make it a fairly subtle effect. So what we will probably want to do is add ourselves a color stop here. So I would add one here that's going to be at 0.49, so just before halfway, and I'm going to say that it is completely transparent. Okay, so we'll end up with something that looks a bit weird, because we've kind of gone from transparent out towards the dark, and then all of a sudden we introduce this transparent again. It's transparent black. So that's fine. We'll start this at 0, run it up to 1. But what we'll do is we'll say 0.5. So we want the vignette to kick in after the 0.49. So this is the first stop. Plus I, which is running from 0 to 1, multiplied by 0.5. So we're going to run our gradient from 0.5 to 1. Okay? So that's going to change it now so that it looks more like that. And it kicks in a little bit further out, which is what we'd want. And the problem I've got here is this very hard edge. You see that this is a problem typically with linear gradients. They can work just fine, but if you find that they're a little bit harsh, you can introduce some easing. Now, I first saw this on a CSS Tricks article, which I'll link below. I'll find it and link it below. And it applies it for just general linear gradients, but it works just great if you've got this kind of vignetting going on. So let's do something with that. And the problem is this value is running from 0 to 1 with a step of 0.1. Ding, 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 ding. That's fine. What we actually want to do is we just want to call this something like alpha, like that. We want to convert our linear value into an eased value. Now, I wonder if I've ever done a video on doing easing. Just saying, might be worth a watch. Just saying. In this case, we're going to do an ease in. We want to sort of start off gently and then ramp up, rather than the one I showed in that video, which you should watch, where we start off fast and ease out. So we're going to do an ease in, and the easiest way to do an ease in this case, would be to do const alpha is math.pow I times raised to some power. So I'm going to do cubic. Why would this work? Well, think about this. Let's say I was 0.5 and we times 0.5 by itself. We get 0.25. So it's lower. And then if we times it by itself again for the cubic, it becomes 0.125. So we've gone from a value that was 0.5 down to 0.125. However, when we get to 1, for example, it's going to be 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. So we still go from 0, which would be 0 times 0 times 0, to 1 times 1 times 1. It's just in the middle, the values all come down, and this ends up with this upward curve. That's what's happening mathematically. If that doesn't make sense to you, just type in x, and then the little caret, the hatty caret thing, 3. I'll pop it on screen. There you go. Type that into Google, and it will draw you a graph of what that looks like. In fact, if you do x cubed from 0 to 1, you will see an actual graph that's locked in like that. I might even link that below. Just click it. It's an interesting thing you can do on Google search now. Right, so we have now given ourselves a bit of easing. Net effect. You see how much softer that is on the edges now? Oh, that's lovely. Jobs. That's grand. That's Triff and Marv. Terrific, marvellous, Triff and Marv. So there you go, that's how you can add a vignette. And I'm not saying you'd add it to every single project, it's just one of those little things that you chuck into your bag of tricks, and some future project might require something like this and you go, aha, I have it. I know what I'm going to do. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is my final video of 2018, so I will see you on the 2019 flip side. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for being part of my fun little journey over here. Catch you on the flip side. See if I can do the outro as a speed run. You ready? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't. It helps me a bunch. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the flip side. Yes! Yeah!